room for personnel or for litters or for whatever we may do. Coming in from the north side, high-speed pass. This is where we do most of our work in all of our environments. We're typically 500 feet below wherever we go. So a lot of alone and unafraid, not talking to a lot of people. So there's some other unique maneuverability of a helicopter. Always have to keep, as you'll see and you'll probably hear throughout the flight, positive G's on the rotor head, or the rotor head doesn't work. So we got to keep pressure, not a lot of negative anything. Very maneuverable, use the airspeed to do tighter turns.
Yeah, maneuverable indeed. If he pulls any harder, he's going to be wearing a G-suit on that thing.
Yeah, we typically we'll use some of these maneuvers where we're out there just in the search phase. Depending how open the environment is, we can go faster and cover a bigger area. A lot of the wooded trees areas, we're low, maybe 30 feet over the trees, just looking straight down, trying to find anything we can.
Now, other variants of the 60 flying with the U.S. Army, the U.S. Air Force, and then you guys obviously have specific things that are different about the aircraft because of your unique requirements to operate on a ship where space is critical. What do you guys do to be able to pack so many of these aircraft in on a small area?
Yeah, that's correct. We are the only ones that have an automatic blade fold system. So when you land on a helicopter, our blades will fold back and the tail will actually crack and fold towards. So we have limited space on the ship. It works ideally. Some of the Romeo version of ours is radars, sonobuoys, looking for ships and submarines, and that's its specific mission. This is more of a true escort. They can carry more, so they'll do the vert reps on the from ship to ship, and keep all the ships, small ships, as supplied up.
Now, for the search and rescue specific to Lemoore, obviously you're in support with all the training and the operational and student training going on here, but you also have a bit of a humanitarian mission. They can call you guys at a moment's notice, and whether you're going 150 miles offshore up into the Sierra, you guys are covering it.
So yeah, right there you saw a real slow approach. You can see a man out the door. That is HM2 Hodge, one of our SAR medical technicians. He is first responder, but this is how in the Sierras we train most of our afternoons and evenings. Someone would be down below, but the environment is not good enough for us to land, so he's going to rappel out. He brings a level A medical kit with him. He can bring a backboard, whatever we need, whatever you think, to get the patient packaged on the ground, and he'll bring that with himself. He will go in a typical mission and we would fly away. We're burning a lot more gas when we're sitting in a hover than if we go up and loiter. And if he needs more time because of the injuries on the deck, then we would go up and get to a max conserve kind of situation, and then he'll call us back in when he's ready. So he has a radio on him. He's going to send the stuff back up, and then he will tell us, hey, I need 10 minutes for this victim, I need 15 minutes for this survivor, what do I need to do? And we will set up the scenario, give them best case scenario. We usually would come up high, talk to home and say, hey, tell RMC we have this, or tell the medical center we're coming in with this. We'll probably be in there in about 30 minutes to get them prepped up.
Folks, I want to draw your attention to the hovering. Look at the helicopter. This pilot has got this thing rock solid. You always hear the helicopter is very difficult to hover. I'm not seeing moving even an inch up there.
So in a scenario like this, there's probably multiple casualties or injuries on the deck, so they're going to put a second guy out to help them. Anyone who's tried to move 200 pounds of person out there up and down the Sierra National Forest or anywhere out there knows you'll probably need an extra hand. Once you get them in the litter's about 40 pounds, so you're talking 220, 240 pounds a person. It helps if we can get two on the ground. We will always send someone down to meet the survivor, even if they're conscious and waiting, because you can do more damage hoisting them than you would anywhere else. So hoisting is an option. All the aviators who fly around here fly with a D-ring, and we could just send them a hoist and bring them up. But you're worried about back injuries if it was ejection or how they get down there or why they're down there. So we will always get people down there, evaluate the situation. These are all of our medical folks. They're actually corpsmen from the hospital that train in the aircraft to come out and just fly specifically with the search and rescue, or they go with the CSAR, combat SAR guys overseas.
How about are all the qualified as rescue swimmers also, or is that a certain contingent of them?
So specifically the HMs that go down there and get the rescue, they don't get the rescue swimmer designation, they get the SAR medical tech designation, but they go through the same school. So down there they would be prepping everything they need, talking to the helicopter, keeping us. We're trying to save gas so we can stay on station as long as we can or need to. And then we'll come in, we'll do an in-flight recovery. I don't know who's seen the YouTube video of the spinning litter. I think it went viral about a month and a half ago, but we do in-flight recoveries because it keeps a little streamlined on the aircraft and it keeps it more stable underneath. So he'll come in and pick up and do a slow crawl out of here to keep everyone flowing and no spinning, or minimal spinning, I should say.
Now, the aircraft built by Sikorsky helicopters, 2 General Electric engines on the aircraft, putting out about 1,900 shaft horsepower. I was reading last night that the Coast Guard had a rescue, and in one story they picked up 26 people. They had an amazing lift capability on the 60.
Very much so. The Coast Guard has about 5 or 6 stations that fly their version of the 60. It's just a different letter designator, so they have a couple different things more for the overwater search and rescue. The Army has several versions of it. They actually brought their nice newest M60 mic, and it's sitting on the line over in the southeast corner. Take a look at that. So as you can see, the hoist is coming down. The crewman in the back is actually with the hoist is talking to the pilots. The pilots, this is actually a very hard hover because there's nothing out there to look at to judge your hover. So typically in the mountains, we have a tree or something like that, we can hold a good reference. This is referenceless, as I'd like to say. So there's not a lot to look out there for the pilots. So they're doing an excellent job holding a nice hover for them. He's gonna position them straight over the victims or the survivors to make sure when they come off the deck, they don't have that little bit of a bow and start to spin early. So it's very critical here when the first couple feet off the deck that they have it all straight so he can get out of here without any further injuries or any swinging. It's much easier recovery. So you have 2 people coming up. The hoist is rated at 600 pounds, so we can take 2 people and a bunch of gear back up, and they'll go for a quick in-flight, fly around. It'll probably let them hang out a little longer than we would if it was an actual, because it's fun. There was a very awe-inspiring cone of silence right underneath the aircraft. So when you're hanging under there, all the pilots have to go through our appreciation. And now he's putting out the flag just for a little showmanship, looking good. So he's under control there. If you see his hands, he's telling them what to do. He's telling them, we're clear of the trees, you're not gonna drag me through the trees, we got everything going right. And they'll take them there, and then they'll do a slow recovery. Our horse will come up, and then they'll drag them back in the aircraft. We go in a real life situation, we'd be heading straight to the, as soon as they close that door, we'd be heading straight to the medical facility, about 150 knots.
Heard a little spontaneous applause when that American flag came on out. America!
So the second man that went down was our AWS-2 Perez. He is a rescue swimmer trained. So we do a lot of cross training. The medical people will teach a lot of the medical stuff to the SMTs, and then the rescue swimmers will teach a lot of stuff over to the all the techniques and what they need for the rescue swimmer side.
So when you said he was going to be hanging out, you literally meant he was going to be hanging out.
Yeah, well, this is one of our fun things we like to do. We do a lot of ground crews will drive out for practice into this, and everyone likes to get shore hauled, so we all try and get out there in the mountains, get picked up, and like I said, it's really quiet and calm underneath the aircraft, and you can actually talk normal volume between each other and just enjoy the ride. It's really nice from the Sierras looking down on the valley.
Anytime flight operations are going on at Lemoore, you guys are sitting alert, or you have a crew kind of ready to go?
Correct. Our #1 goal is over water, so when all the jets are flying over in Whiskey 283, which is off the coast, we're over in Salinas, and we stand a 15-minute alert over there. Because the water temperature is cold, you can't be out there very long. We'll launch at 15 and we'll be out over the waters. And that's about 100 to 150 miles off the coast, so it's a large range, and we're out there almost every day. And then when we're not out there, we are covering the local area. The MOAs go from here, China Lake, all the way over the mountains. And we do most of our training in the mountains.
And if you said I missed it, how many aircraft do you have assigned here?
We have 4. Typically, 1 getting major maintenance done, 1 getting routine maintenance, and 2 out on the line that we can fly at any one time.
What kind of upgrades do you see coming down the line?
Engine, we come in, we're using the airflow going up through the rotor heads to charge it, and then we give a big pull to the bottom, and then it cushions our landing, and we can actually get away. We don't need a runway, we can just figure it out. So that's, you never want that. Tail rotor issue would be the #1 reason we do that, and that takes the anti-torque requirement away by taking the engines away. So then we can do the auto rotation, pull off the engines, and safely get out of here.
A good demonstration there of actually how much air those rotors are throwing down. It has to throw down enough air to keep that 8 to 10 ton aircraft airborne.
Yeah, we'll probably launch anywhere between 18 and 20,000 pounds with a full bag of gas on that. So we're looking pretty good. About an 80 mile an hour, 70, 80 mile an hour wind if we're sitting in a hover. So the guys on the ground do get a little bit beat up, but it's the fastest way to get people to safety. 100 pallets out on the deck, you want to just get under the day because it's long. So they're gonna come in. We do sideways and rearward flight at 45 knots and below. So he'll kick the tail out real quick. And this is how we would use, you're in the Gulf and you have 500 pallets to move. Everyone wants this to go, that evolution to go as fast as possible. So we're doing side flares and slot.
School, allowing our test pilots to fly something that's a little bit less than what you would call a modern aircraft. Gives them a chance to see how development of aircraft has been, lets them feel the flight controls as they take it through the performance envelope. In fact, our executive air show director, Commander Ray Beasy, he can attest to that. He's a test pilot school graduate and running the show out here today. And Ray and his staff have put together quite the event. We'll tell you about it here very, very shortly. Come on in, join us for the show. Welcome to Lemoore.